Hi, welcome back to Two Men and Their Meat, the YouTube channel for backyard cooks and pit masters. Today, we're doing a brisket on the Kamado Joe using this Fireboard 2 to run it, doing an overnight cook, but we're not doing a traditional brisket. We're gonna do a Barbacoa brisket. Stay tuned and check it out. All right, so this brisket's been on since 10 o'clock last night. Sorry I didn't film it going on. It was pretty dark out here. Couldn't get a good shot with the lighting I had. But anyway, so we put it on 10 o'clock last night. It's now about 8:30 a.m. the next morning, so it's been running for a while at 225. Let me kind of catch you up on what we've done. So far, it's just been a traditional brisket. I trimmed it up. If you want to see how I go about trimming it, I've been learning from the videos on Smokin' Joe's Pit Barbecue. He's got some excellent trimming videos on there, so I'll link his channel down below. Once I trimmed it, I seasoned it up with some salt, pepper, garlic, and paprika on both sides, and then I also put a little bit of Meat Church fajita seasoning on it, because again, we're going for a barbacoa flavor today, so I want some good Mexican seasonings on there. That Meat Church fajita does really great on here. So I'm going to open up this lid and we're going to check and see where it's at. Don't think we're going to quite move on to the next step yet. We'll see when I open it, but probably just going to spritz right now. But let's take a look at it. All right, so this Fireboard 2 has been running this Kamado Joe Big Joe all night long, rock steady at 225. So let's take a look at it. This is my first time to look at it. Almost 11 hours. So let's see how it's doing. Got some smoke coming out. Oh yeah, that's looking good. It's about what I expected. The temperature on the probe is still showing around a little over 150, so I wasn't quite expecting for the bark to be set up yet. You can still see it's still pretty wet. So what I'm going to do right now is we're just going to give it a spritz. Let's get some good moisture on there. Bark's not quite where I want it before we move on to the next step, so we're going to let it roll a little bit longer. Should be good on the spritz. So we're going to close this back up before I lose too much of my temps. That's looking good though. So we're not in too big of a hurry to get this one going, so we're going nice and low and slow today. We are going to make a little adjustment here on the Fireboard, and I will show you that here in just one sec. Alright, so I've got the Fireboard 2 app opened here. You can see that lighter orange color is the pit temp. It's been rocking steady, like I said, all night at 225. Just a few little dips here and there from opening the door. That darker orange down below, that's actually the meat temp. You can see we've been cruising in the 140 to 150 range for a long time now. I put this on a little before or a little after 10 o'clock this morning, and it's about, like I said, about 8:30 right now. And the temp's at 151.8 on that brisket. So like I said, we're not in too big a hurry, but I do want to speed it up just a little bit. So I'm going to hit that set temp. We're going to bump that up to 250 and hit set. And you'll see that set point will change here in just a second. There it goes. And then here shortly, that fan speed will kick on, and it'll bump it up and level out at 250. And we'll come back and check on it here in a little bit. All right, so to get ready for this next step, I've got a aluminum pan here wrapped with foil, just to make for easy cleanup. But what I've done is I've sliced up a few onions. I've got about 3 medium-sized yellow onions that I've sliced up. Also got a few jalapenos. I just sliced them long ways in half and de-seeded them. And got some garlic cloves. There's 1 full head of garlic just smashed up and peeled and threw it in there. Put some hot sauce in there. I use Tapatios. You can use whatever hot sauce you like, but I really like the flavor that Tapatios has. It's not too much spice. Got some kids going to be eating this today, so don't want to make it too terribly spicy. And then also just put a little bit more of that fajita seasoning back across it, and I've put a little bit of beef broth in there. And once I get this brisket in, I'm going to set the brisket in here and put the rest of the beef broth in, come up a little bit on the side. We're not coming too high up on the brisket. You definitely don't want to cover the whole thing. Just enough for it to kind of sit in and braise in there. So we'll check on that brisket, and it should be about ready to go in this pan. So it's about 11:30 in the morning. We've been going another 3 hours since we last checked it. I've spritzed it a few times, about every 45 minutes to an hour. I've been putting a little bit of spritz of water on there, just kind of keep it moist. But let's give it a look and see what it looks like. I did bump the temp up a little while ago to 275, just to kind of get it ready for this next step here. Oh yeah, that's looking good. Let's look at that bark. Oh yeah, the bark's definitely set. Got a little bit of moisture sitting on top here, but I'm not too worried about that. Looks like the bark is set. So we're going to go ahead and pull this off and get it in that aluminum pan and meet you back at the prep table for that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this brisket off, get the probe out. I'm just going to carry this over, drop it in our pan there. Again, so we just got it resting on the veggies there. And so I'm just using these, I've just got cotton liners with some nitriles over them. I find it's a little bit easier to handle a full piece of meat than just using those thick rubber barbecue gloves. But anyway, that's all I need for these. Let me get these off. We're going to go ahead and put the rest of this beef broth in. I'm not using anything special, just picked up from Walmart. I've already put in about half of this, and we're going to go ahead and probably use the whole thing. Just going to kind of go around the edge there. Like I said, we're just got some sliced onions, jalapenos, some smashed garlic, a little bit more fajita seasoning, and some Topatillo's hot sauce. Again, you can use whatever hot sauce you like, or you can skip the hot sauce or even the jalapenos. So we've got that whole thing of beef broth in there, and now we're just going to go ahead and get some foil over the top. I know a lot of y'all are probably thinking that it's a sacrilege to treat a brisket like this, or to call it barbacoa when it's not using beef cheek. Here in the summer of 2020, it's kind of hard to get certain cuts, as you guys all know. So I hadn't been able to find any beef cheek, but this is a really good alternative. This is just a cheap brisket I picked up from Albertsons on sale. I think it was $1.97 a pound when I picked it up, but perfect for what we're using it for today, and this is going to turn out great. Y'all definitely need to give this a try, but let's go ahead and get this back on the grill. Alright, so I just carried the tray back over here, got the brisket in, went ahead and put the probe back right in the flat there, right in the middle. Try to get as close to the same spot as possible, and we're going to run this, we're going to keep it at 275 just to kind of push it along. Also going to carry it over, we're going to tenderness, but we're going to carry it over to a little bit higher temp. I'm not too worried about drying it out today, since it's braising in that beef broth, and more of that fat's going to render out, and just sit there and braising it. So I've got the fireboard set up to give me an alert when this gets up to about 210 degrees. Again, probably a little further than what most of y'all would carry over a brisket to, but again, we're not treating this like a normal brisket. We're going to make some good tacos out of this, so should go for another few more hours before it's ready, but we'll come back and check on it and when we get to that 210, and we'll see if we're tender there, which we should be, but we'll be back. Alright, so it's about 2:30. We've been going about another 3 hours with it covered here at about 275. So let's open it up and take a look. We are showing that on the fireboard that we've hit 210, so we should be good to go, but we're going to give it a quick double check here. Grab my gloves. Want to check for probe tenderness here, so we're going to get this probe out. Let's give it a look. It's already smelling awesome. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's smelling great. So I've just got a thermopop here that I'm going to use to check for tenderness. Oh yeah. Getting 208. Down here in the flat, 209. Oh yeah, that thing's done. That's perfect. All right, so we're gonna get this thing off. I'm gonna leave it uncovered here for a few minutes to let the steam kind of air out. Then after a few minutes, I'm just gonna cover that foil back down and let it kind of rest for probably an hour or two. We'll see how long that's gonna go, but at least an hour, probably closer to 2 hours though, and then we'll come back and we'll chop it up. All right, so this barbacoa brisket's rested for about 2 hours now. Let's go ahead and get it uncovered and take a look at it. All right, so let's get this thing unwrapped and see what it looks like. And it's been resting for about 2 hours. Oh yeah, that's looking good. It's jiggly, bark's nice and crusty. A little bit of a spot right here that the bark didn't set. Kind of expecting that because, like we saw a little bit ago, the bark was still a little bit wet when we put it in, but no big deal. So let's move this over to the side. We'll get this out on the chopping block here. Man, those onions and peppers and garlic smell great. So first we'll just kind of cut it down the middle here, just kind of take a look at it. Like I said, we're going to use this as tacos and get it chopped up, but I kind of want to look down inside just to take a look at it. Oh yeah, it's looking good. Not a huge smoke ring. And those Kamado Joes don't put off smoke ring quite like your offsets, but it's still going to taste great. I don't normally squeeze the juice out, but just for video's sake. I don't know if that'll show up there, but it's definitely got some juice left to it. So what we're going to do, we're going to come through and slice some. Once we get a section of slices, we'll go back and chop it. Again, these don't have to be the prettiest slices because, again, we're going to wind up chopping this thing. So once we got that section there, kind of come back and do a rough chop on it. You know, whatever size you like. You can do bigger or smaller, however you like it. Just, like I said, we're doing it on tacos, and you know, you could use this for nachos or even a sandwich if you wanted to. Even though it's not a traditional brisket, you can still, you know, put it on a sandwich if you wanted to, with some jalapenos or pickles. Once I got that pile of meat set up there, so that's all lean meat, we're going to throw that here back into the mixture. And we're just going to keep doing this until we get the whole thing chopped down and get it all mixed together, the fatty with the lean part, and just have it all mixed together. So we'll come back and check that out once I have that done. All right, there it is. Brisket barbacoa. Again, probably going to get blasted for either not doing traditional brisket or not doing traditional barbacoa. But again, this, you know, just kind of working with what we got, and you know, I couldn't go find a nice prime brisket right now, but I was able to get kind of a cheaper one, and you know, we can find some beef cheeks. So we were wanting brisket, we were wanting barbacoa, so we just kind of mixed the two. So I've chopped it all up here, tossed it back through its juice with all the onions and the jalapeno and the garlic and everything. I'm not going to actually put together a taco. This is actually going over to my sister's for dinner tonight. But I will do a taste test here for you. Kind of see what we got here. Got a nice chunk with some bark on it. Definitely juicy after running back through that juice. Again, we took this all the way to 210, so you know, if you were doing this traditionally, you know, the brisket probably was a little dried out going through and slicing it, but once you actually run it back through all those juices, you'd never know it. It's all moist and got the onions and jalapenos mixed in there, so let's give it a taste. That's really good. That's gonna be great on a taco. You can I like a corn tortilla, so does my wife, you know, or you can even do it on flour, whatever you like. Put some pico on there, a little bit of verde sauce. I love verde sauce on beef. To me, that's the only way to do it. But again, you make it up how you like it. And again, you don't have to do this for tacos. Do nachos, sandwiches, whatever you feel like. But it's definitely got that good fajita flavor to it. Again, it's just kind of a good mix of both worlds of brisket and barbacoa. So give this a try. You know, got a brisket in the freezer that you don't know what to do with it, or just can't find that nice prime cut and just aren't sure what to do. Give this a try. Tell me what y'all think of it. Leave a comment. Tell me what y'all have done with some briskets different than just your traditional sliced brisket. Again, give us a thumbs up. Like it or don't like it. Either one. Let us know some feedback so we kind of know what y'all want to see. Let us know what you want to see us cook next, and what grill you want to see it cooked on, between either the Camp Chef griddle, the Kamado Joe, or the Old Country Barbecue Pits Wrangler stick burner that we got. So I just want to thank you guys for watching again, and don't forget to like and subscribe. But thanks. We'll see you on the next one.